past 10 years, everything paranormal has captured the attention of many people. Invaded TV, radio, the books we read, movies, and even in the news. And the popularity keeps growing. No longer talked about in hushed voices or kept hidden. Now people are talking around the proverbial water cooler, and with incidents that happened years ago or just yesterday. Seems many are curious and anxious to tell stories about their own brush with the supernatural. I'm Jackie Meador of Central California Paranormal Investigators, and this is my co-host, sensitive healer and Reiki Master of Casa del Curandero, and partner in crime, because it's a crime we didn't do this sooner, Krista
Yes,
Erickson.
It is a crime. So together we're going to be talking about things that go bump in the night and even the day. We're going to take you to places that some say are haunted, meet those who hunt for ghosts, venture into the wilderness in search of Bigfoot, watch the skies for UFOs, and investigate urban legends. Those who are on the journey and committed to researching all manner of the paranormal. We hope you enjoy our special guests throughout the season and discussions on various paranormal topics. You are watching Paranormal Journeys.
Tonight, for our premiere episode, we are going to be talking about what we do.
Yes.
We're going to be talking about a couple of valley hauntings. We're going to have a couple of stories for you. Just some interesting news and tidbits and announcements to do. And we're hoping you enjoy the show. First off, I think we are going to start off with a story.
Okay.
You want to start with your story?
Yeah, I'll start with my story.
Okay.
Okay, so the paranormal is always in the news these days.
Right.
You know, it's not like 10 years ago
Right.
when it used to be hush-hush. People couldn't tell their experiences. And in fact, there was one story that I came across that I happen to love, and I had to share it. So,
Okay.
you know, every little girl has a dream of being a princess in a castle,
Sure.
right?
Sure.
And every man dreams of being the king of their own castle. Well, we finally have our chance. Anybody that wants to.
Yeah.
So, for sale is a beautiful Scottish castle. It's called the Belleville House, and it was recently listed for the price of 7 million euros, which, you know, I mean, we're talking about a castle here. That's pretty good.
Do they have a moat?
No moat. You can build your own moat. If you can afford a $7 million castle, you can build a moat, right? So actually, that's in euros. In US dollars, it's actually about $9.3 million.
Okay.
So Belleville was designed by a renowned Scottish neoclassical architect named Robert Adams. But its origins are thought to date all the way back to the Pictish times, which means that it goes back to about the late 10th, early 11th century. So we're talking, it's really, really old here.
Yeah.
The entire estate, it's 7,000 acres. I mean, that's huge. That is just absolutely massive. 600 of those are forested. It has its own forest, you know. It has 8 additional houses and cottages on the land. There's a farm. I think they have cows and they have goats. But most importantly, there's a ghost, right?
Of course.
Who wants to buy a castle if it doesn't come with a ghost? What's the point?
Yeah, really, really.
All right, so this particular ghost that haunts Belleville is named Sarah, but she's not your typical spook. She's actually very helpful, or so they say. Sarah was a maid who fell in love with the butler, of course, because aren't all these haunted castles due to a love story?
Tragic.
Very tragic. But apparently the butler was above her station, so they weren't allowed to
Commingle.
commingle.
Okay.
So
Nice way of putting
distraught, absolutely distraught, she just throws herself off of a bridge into the water of the Rates Burn, which is like a river, a lake, something along those lines. But the Lord who currently lives in the castle is saying that the ghost is very kindly and very well-meaning. But then again, I mean, he has to live with her, so I wouldn't talk bad about a ghost if I had to live with him either. But she has been known to switch on the kettle for coffee. She has set a fire in an empty, bitterly cold house, in the fireplace, of course. She's not trying to burn it down or anything. Right. She's even been said to help messy guests by folding their laundry and placing it on the end of the bed overnight. I mean,
A maid you don't have to pay.
right.
Oh, wow.
Right.
Cool.
I would love that. No, she has done a few bad things too. She has been known and blamed for the wallpaper peeling in the bathrooms because I guess she turns the hot water on a little too high and leaves it on, and the wallpaper just peels away. But now, even if you don't like the idea of a friendly ghost, if that scares you, then consider this. You would actually be in the same neighborhood as the high society likes of Louis Vuitton. He's, I believe, 2 castles down.
2 castles down?
Yeah, he's only 2 castles down. Belleville House was actually filmed. There was a BBC show called the Monarchs of Glen.
Oh yeah, I used to watch that.
Yeah, most Americans don't know about it, but it was really popular. I think it ran for 7 seasons. Yeah. I mean, that's a long time, and it was like the main castle in that show. So you have like the glitz and glamour of well, it's not Hollywood because it's BBC. I don't know what they call their Hollywood-esque, but you get neighbors like Louis Vuitton, and you have a friendly ghost that you don't have to pay and is going to help you clean up and keep things up to date. Yeah. So I mean, all things considered, $9.3 million I think is a fair price to pay for a piece of land like that. You get the history, the architecture, the glamour, and the ghost. And no moat. And well, does it have a dungeon at least? I don't know. It should have a dungeon. It should have a dungeon. And a moat. Yeah. Well, okay, you go by it, and I will personally help you dig a moat. But you found a little story about supposedly... I did. Yeah. I found one sentence in one article that mentioned something about the Cumming massacre that happened at the Belleville House, at this castle. Cumming is spelled C-O-Y-M-N, no, C-O-M-Y-N, sorry. Yeah. This family, like the males in this family, run back throughout history. They were all military leaders. And like I said, I found just this one glib about something to do with the Cumming massacre. But as I tried to research it more and more, it just, I couldn't verify the data. I couldn't verify that it was there. So, but possibly beyond Sarah, there may be a whole bunch of ghosts there. I mean, because the Cumming massacre, from the pieces I were able to kind of find, it sounds like there was dozens, if not hundreds, of men that were killed there. So, but which castle it happened at doesn't seem to be very clear in the history books. So, so who knows? You may get more than you bargained for. Yeah. But yeah, so that's Belleville. I would love to have a castle, but I don't know if I want to pay somebody to clean it. Of course, if we have a ghost, Sarah, who picks up after ourselves, then maybe that's not too bad. What more can you ask for? Got me thinking. I don't think most of our viewers may not know who we are. That's true. And maybe we should kind of interject here and talk about what you do. Okay. Who are you? Who am I? Who's Krista? Why is that such a hard question to ask? Okay, no. I'm Krista. I am co-founder of Casa del Curandero, and we teach Reiki classes, both Usui and Karuna Reiki. And we teach classes on everything. Right. We offer spiritual support and guidance. We just taught a class on the Aztec calendar because you can actually use it almost. It's almost like astrology. Yeah. You can use it to predict. But yeah, we have all sorts of fun classes. We talk to people. We bring people in. We work with them. We help them. We teach. We learn ourselves a lot. Explain Reiki. What is Reiki? Okay. Well, Reiki actually stands for universal energy. Okay. And what it is, almost every single religion that you will ever read about or come across, they have some form of hands-on healing. I mean, even in the Bible, Jesus would lay his hands on people. Catholics still practice that. Right. And almost every religion has something like that. It's all just a different name. So Reiki is actually a Tibetan. Right. It comes from Tibet. But it was actually founded by, Usui Reiki was founded by Dr. Mikao Usui, who is Japanese. But it got brought over here to the United States, and it's an energy healing. It's really about using yourself kind of as a channel to focus energy from God, from the divine, whatever you want to call it. Yeah. And helping whoever it is that you're helping, whether it be yourself or a client. Do you do, I know, because I had a couple of the Reiki treatments, and but does it go further? I mean, I know you're dealing with energy, and I know you're dealing with positive and negative energy and cleansing and that kind of thing.
what about kind of counseling? Do you guys like counsel people, especially like maybe grief counseling and how to heal yourself? I think is what I'm looking for.
And that's more of it. We don't necessarily do grief counseling as you would traditionally think of grief counseling, but we help people on their spiritual path.
Yeah.
You know, everyone has to start somewhere. I don't think we ever finish our paths. I think we're always learning. God knows I am.
Yeah, really.
You know, and it's really a matter of helping people to find where they are right now. Because sometimes that's really hard to admit where you are.
It is.
And then to figure out where you want to be.
Yeah.
And then we work on the road on how to get there. So, you know, it's a process just like anything else. So.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Well, good. Well, that's good to know. And I mean, we've known each other for a while. We've known each other what, for 6, 7 years.
Something like that. Yeah.
But when I met you, you were doing something a little different.
I was.
Krista was, of course, we were investigating ghosts and hauntings, but Krista was did spirit rescue, and she doesn't like to call herself psychic, but you know, she is psychic, you know, and she's very sensitive as well and intuitive. So, but I've been fortunate to see her in action when she's done her spirit rescue work, and it's awesome. It's awesome.
And I do still do spirit rescue when you know, when the need comes. I just don't come across it that often because I'm not ghost hunting anymore. And you know, when you're ghost hunting, it's kind of obvious. You know, it's you're there. You got to help them. Well, I believe you got to help them. You know,
and if they come up to you and say, "Hey, you know, I want to go, but I don't know how."
Right.
You know, then you're there to help them over.
Exactly. Then I help them cross basically.
Okay.
So.
All right.
Yeah. So and then speaking of ghost hunting, so that's actually that's how we met.
Yes.
Yeah, that's how we met.
I forget, where was the first time? Was it Preston? No, it wasn't Preston.
No, it was long before. It was probably Sierra Sky Ranch.
Oh, Sierra Sky Ranch.
Yeah,
Okay.
probably Sierra Sky Ranch.
Yeah. Yeah.
But so that being said, because for those of you that don't know, Jackie is what we call her the hub. And she's earned that nickname very well because pretty much every single paranormal team within Fresno County has somebody that has learned from you.
Yeah. Thank you.
I mean, I'd say probably, okay, this is not a checked fact here, but I would estimate at least 80 to 90% of the teams originate from one of your classes.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's that high, but you know,
it seems like it. So tell the viewers about yourself. So what's CCPI? Let's start there.
CCPI. Well, Central California Paranormal Investigators. My husband and I founded that in around 2000, and I was kind of curious. I've always been curious about ghosts since I was 10, and I just kind of got myself re-involved, and this was way long before it was popular, and decided to kind of further that to see what was out there. Of course, you don't get any schooling for this, you know.
No, well, not before you.
No, so. But I mean, there was a school back east. There used to be a school in San Francisco, and I believe there used to be a school in LA, but for paranormal studies, that kind of thing. But now you really can't find them anymore. So, but I needed some basic training and education, and I went online and found a couple people online to teach me, and had a mentor for about 3 years and followed her around. We went all over the United States. I was in the swamps of Alabama and looking for ghost lights at midnight, listening to the alligators and the bullfrogs and the fireflies. And then we were in Tombstone, checking out the Birdcage Theater, and we went all over, and it was fun. After that, we kind of came back, put out our shingle, and said, hey, you know, it's time to start our own group. It's time to get our feet on the ground and just kind of do that. So, and we did.
So the lack of having access to a somewhat formal, at least, education on this, is that what made you decide to start teaching classes?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. That was a big part of why I wanted to teach, and I had contacted the Fresno Adult School Community Education Department, and she was thrilled. The coordinator was thrilled, but that was when it was really starting to get popular.
Right.
So, and my classes are, you know, from the beginning they were books. It was waiting list. So.
Wow.
Yeah, and I like it. I like doing it. I like teaching. I like interacting with people who have the same passion that I do. So yeah, that's always fun. You know, we're going into I think our 8th year now. So this will be our 8th session. Of course, by the time we air this, classes will have already started for the fall session, but usually have one in the spring and the fall. So,
So almost 8 sessions now.
yeah.
What's different
Well,
from the beginning?
8 years, that's 2 sessions apiece, actually. So it's 16.
Oh, wow.
So it's 16.
16. So you've gone through 16 classes.
Uh-huh.
What's changed? I mean, that's 8
Um,
years. I mean, you know,
yeah.
10 years ago, people wouldn't be caught dead talking
Yeah.
about their ghosts and spirits in their house. It was so taboo.
Oh, yeah.
You know.
Definitely. And even for us.
Right,
Yeah.
right. And now you can't turn on your TV without seeing
Yeah.
stuff about the paranormal.
Right.
So what's like some of the biggest changes that you've seen since
Well,
you've been in the thick of it?
Yeah, and people I've seen, the awareness is more. I mean, back then, people were hush hush about it. Even in class, I mean, I'd get students in class who didn't want to tell their relatives or their friends or their coworkers. I mean, everything was hush hush. Didn't want their pictures taken. I mean, now it's just the opposite. Now it's really not a big deal anymore.
Yeah.
So the awareness has been raised, and I think a lot of that is due to all the TV shows. Even though I have issues with some of the TV shows, but
Understandably
yeah,
so.
yeah, he says raise the awareness. People are talking about it,
Yeah.
so it's kind of brought it out in the open. So people, aren't afraid that they'll be called crazy or kook or weird or whatever.
Right.
So,
Yeah. The whole perspective of everything has really changed. Really,
Yeah,
really
yeah, and
changed.
that's the big thing. That's the big thing there. So, and I think people are. I mean, I get my skeptics, and that's fine, but people are more accepting. I mean, once you go through and get that evidence and get that first electronic voice phenomena or that first picture, you're hooked.
Right.
And,
Absolutely.
You want to know.
Yeah.
You want to know what's going on.
Yep.
You can be the biggest skeptic in the world, but if you're standing in a room and you've got a tape recorder and you're asking questions, and all of a sudden you hear on the tape recorder answers, and it's nobody else around.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So yeah,
It-
that's
it's
different.
It is an adrenaline rush
Yeah.
doing an investigation.
Yeah.
I will admit, I haven't done them for a few years now, but I admit I miss it.
Well, good, because I've got this case coming up.
Do you?
Yes, I've actually got 2 cases coming up. One's in Kingsburg and one is in Sanger. So, but this
Yeah.
sounds really interesting.
It's fun. It really is. So,
Yeah.
so tell me this, because you've really been all over the place.
Right. Well, not back east. I haven't been back east. That's one place I want to go.
Okay, but you've been in a lot of places.
Yeah.
What's your favorite? What was your favorite haunt? So many to choose from, I'm sure.
Well, there's. I've never been really scared. So, but there's some that you get a lot of evidence that's special, and then you have some that maybe where you got your first experience.
Right.
And then then there's others who are just the history is just so lush and just wonderful, And but I think I would have the most favorite place because I love the Sky Ranch, and that's really consistent.
Yes,
So,
it is.
but I'm going to have to say that my actual first experience physical experience came when I was in Texas in San Antonio and was at the Park Inn where I actually saw with my own eyes,
Oh, wow.
heard with my own ears, and I'm not psychic,
Yeah.
so I don't do all that. I have to depend on my camera and my recorder. But I actually saw things move, on their own with no explanation. I actually heard things. So that was probably the most special. It wasn't scary.
But it gave you undeniable proof for
Yes,
yourself.
for myself.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
What an experience.
Yeah.
I gotta say, my absolute favorite place by far, and I went with you,
You're right.
was Preston Castle. I loved that place. It was
Yeah.
it was absolutely
Yeah.
amazing. And Preston Castle, it's this, it was a boys' reformatory.
Yes.
And I mean,
Preston School of Industry it was called.
Yes, thank you. And I mean, like all of these places, it just has like a horrible history.
Yes.
I mean, there's evidence of these boys being physically, sexually abused, deaths that happened that we don't really know why. But it was an active.
Yes.
It was an active night that I went.
Yes.
And you're in a castle. I mean,
Talk about a little girl dreams of being in a castle.
Right.
It doesn't have a moat though.
no,
It still
I
doesn't have a
know.
moat.
But why don't people do moats anymore?
Yeah, I don't know.
But I mean, it really was. It was just such a great experience. And same thing, like what you had mentioned. you know, I heard things with my own ears.
Yeah.
You see movements in places that you know nobody's down there, you know.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then and just the atmosphere itself was just so amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and in the castle itself, it's pretty. It's decrepit, for lack of a
Yeah.
better word, in parts. The whole thing isn't, but parts of it are in ruins. Like I remember walking down on the third floor,
Yes.
down a hallway, and there's an open door, and you look in the open door, and it's taped off for safety reasons, but you look in the open door, and
It goes straight down.
you can see 3 stories down.
Yeah,
You know, it's like,
yeah.
oh boy, don't
It's
step over there.
It's a fascinating building. When we went, we were lucky because I've been there half a dozen times, but the first 2 times I went, it was right when they just started to open it up for investigators.
Mm-hmm.
So we were able to go pretty much throughout the whole castle except for
Wow.
the top 2 floors because there was no floor.
Yeah.
So, and then a lot of bats and stuff were living up there. But
Right.
they were just starting, the foundation was just starting to renovate, but we were able to go quite a bit. So it was definitely very active, definitely
Yeah.
very active. So, but
Great
now,
place,
now it's a
great
little bit more
place.
restrictive, and you know, of course, we got to spend the night. Now you can't spend the night, so
Yeah,
Yeah.
I wish I had that
Yeah.
chance to spend the night. But the time I was there till like 2
Yeah.
o'clock in the morning, 1
Yeah.
2 o'clock in the morning. So it was, it was.
hey,
it was
supposedly
good.
that's when things start jumping.
I know, right? All right, Jackie, enough about us?
Yes, I
Okay.
definitely, and you know, because I don't know if I can say the second story we got. I
Oh,
don't,
yeah,
I don't know.
here
I want to know who's responsible for this.
I heard you got quite the story.
Yes, yes. 'Cause-
Let's hear it.
Yeah, I don't know if I can say it with a straight face.
Try.
I really don't know if I can. Okay, the story here is about flying. You've got to be kidding me. Humanoids. Okay,
Humanoids?
folks? Humanoids. Yes, yes. For the last dozen years or so, videos, pictures, and witnesses of so-called humanoids, or flying humanoids, have surfaced from all over the world. And we have a photo. Can you believe that?
It looks that one. It looks like a big flying gorilla, doesn't it?
Yeah, yeah, actually it does. A little, yes. But apparently they're human-shaped, and they take on an appearance that some say appear as robots and even witches.
Witches.
So the real question for us is, what are they really? Well, we have an answer.
We
Okay?
do.
We have an answer. The case has been solved.
Oh, that's always good to hear. But wait, is it a
Yeah.
weather balloon?
No,
Okay.
no, it is
Just
not a
checking.
weather balloon.
Because everything's a weather balloon.
Yeah, really. It turns out that there is an underground online community that bring together radio-controlled hobbyists to discuss and create RC craft in configurations, including humanoid-shaped ones.
So wait a minute.
I told you I could keep a straight face.
Because, okay, let me explain the picture that I'm seeing in my head right
Okay.
now. I'm seeing a bunch of nerds, sorry, but seeing a bunch of nerds sitting in their
You're gonna
mom's
have
basement.
every nerd out there calling us. And
Oh, I'll be
contacting
the
us.
first to admit I'm a nerd. I mean, I love my computers and my books. So no, I mean that out of pure love. But I see a bunch of these guys sitting in the basement somewhere on the
And
computer.
that's probably exactly what they're doing. Exactly.
I can even imagine half-empty boxes of pizza, 2 liters of, I mean, I have a pretty clear image in my mind of what these people are doing.
You're watching too much Mr. Science Guy.
I might be. But they're sitting there in online chat rooms.
And discussing plans and how to build these shapes, and some of them are humanoid resembling. But anyway, they have, with advances in the technology, even homemade RC crafts have incredible maneuvering capabilities, including silent hovering, vertical takeoffs, flight stabilization, and more. One journalist was able to gain entrance into a private online group of hobbyists who shared secrets of taking anomalous aerial effects and UFOs. Okay.
So they've officially been caught.
Yes, they have been called. That's why, yeah.
Yeah.
Pink Floyd, in Learning to Fly, sings, "Can't keep my eyes from the circling skies, tongue-tied and twisted, just an earthbound misfit eye." And just like Pink Floyd, those behind the flying humanoid phenomena are techno-nerdy, earthbound misfits. These geeky men of remote control and Krista have given loft to man's fundamental wish to fly.
Wow.
I know.
Wow.
I know.
Flying humanoids. So if you're out there and you see a witch
A little witch flying in the sky.
or a flying robot,
Yeah.
You know who to blame.
It's not a weather balloon, folks.
Nope,
It's not a weather
nope.
balloon. Okay.
All right. So, and you have you mentioned earlier a little bit about Sierra Sky Ranch.
Right.
I've been there a few times with you investigating. It's just one of the coolest places here in the Central Valley, and we want to talk about that a little bit today. I think each week we're gonna
we're gonna try to highlight some place in the valley in Central California that's
someplace local.
Yeah, someplace local
for
where either we've gone or another group has gone, and we're going to be trying to kind of highlight maybe photos, maybe bring the groups in that have gone to that place and kind of interview with them and have them talk about what they found. So that's one of the things that's going to be on our agenda. So, but anyway, starting with the next story about the Valley haunting, and this one's pretty close to my heart. Probably one of the most, if not the most haunted places in Central California, is only located about 1 hour north of Fresno. And reason I say this is because I've not only been investigating there for 8 years, but I also take my paranormal study students there for their overnight trip to put into practice what they learn in class. The activity is so constant, it's almost a guarantee that most of my students will capture something. So that's why I take them there. I'm never disappointed, never. Of course, some of you already know what I'm talking about, and we've mentioned it. It's the Sierra Sky Ranch. It's in Oakhurst. Yeah, in Oakhurst. Yeah, and I forget to say that because it's like my second home. I mean, I go up there, I get the best night's sleep. The ghosts don't bother me. I hear them, I've heard them, but they don't bother me.
And then other people go and they're sleeping like this all night with their eyes wide
open. Yeah, because they do. They like to play tricks. They like to play tricks. It has quite a history, starting in the middle 1800s. It was rough and primitive, mostly inhabited by Chukchansi, Mono, and other Native American Indians, with the area seeing a few white men. First known as the Batterson Ranch, then sold to Henry Castor, who eventually bought land in Fresno Flats, which is now known in Oakhurst. And that's an actual picture of Fresno Flats, and it's old. That's why it's a little blurry.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's an actual picture of Fresno Flats. Henry built his ranch house in 1875, which was considered a mansion in those days, and still in use today as the main house at the Sierra Sky Ranch. It is gorgeous on the inside.
Yes, it really is.
By 1898, the ranch was the largest cattle ranch in Central California, comprising more than 7,000 acres, 4,000 herd of cattle, and 200 ranch hands to keep it all working and in order.
That's huge.
It is huge. For that time, it was really huge.
Wow.
Not only did the ranch raise cattle, but also grew fruit and vegetables, which made it the main supplier of meat and produce to the logging camps, the mining camps, and all the settlers in the surrounding area.
Okay.
Little is known of the ensuing years, but we do know the ranch fell on hard times again, and Henry had to start off selling his land to pay taxes, and little by little the ranch kind of shrunk.
Yeah.
Gone were the most of the cattle, gone were the ranch hands, except for the few older cowboys with nowhere else to go.
Right.
And then gone was the land until all that was left was a few acres. I think it's down to like 15 now, and the ranch house. But we do know, okay, I'm just trying to, there's a good picture.
That's a great picture.
Yeah, that's in the 50s. That's in the
Wow.
50s.
It still looks a lot like that today.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, that was when it was a dude ranch.
Okay.
That was when it was a dude ranch.
Oh, wow.
Let's see.
So once, now that it's all been parceled off, what's happened then?
Well, you could still see remnants of, they had a stables at one time, had a golf course at one time. Then the golf stables were turned into a golf pro shop, and you can still see part of the golf course. It actually had its own lumber mill.
Wow.
You can still see one of the, I guess, the stacks.
Okay.
It's still standing, as far as I know.
Okay.
But yeah, it had its own lumber mill, and I mean, it was pretty functional. I mean, it was all inclusive in everything. And all the meat produce, they made their own lumber. They had sheep and goats and cattle and
Wow, everything.
and chickens, yeah. And then the state of California bought it sometime in the 1930s to be used as a tuberculosis sanitarium for children and adults. On or around 1943, the U.S. Army bought the sanitarium and converted it into a rest and rehab hospital for World War II soldiers. And then 20 years later, it was a dude ranch, complete with stables and a golf course. More years and a few more owners bought it and started renovations. But again, it was sold. It fell on hard times and was sold in 2004 to current owners Ted, Sally, and Holly. And the rest, as they say, is history. The ranch has been a home, a TB sanitarium, an Army R&R, a dude ranch, private home, and a resort. Owners have come and gone. $1 million plans have been drawn up and faded away. Some have died there, and a few have never left. But you know, as many times as I go there, and like I mentioned, the activity is so constant. So it's, I mean, it's always there. And they're really protected, very supportive there at the ranch, all the employees and the owners, and they're very supportive. And the ghosts, as far as they're concerned, the ghosts are part of their family.
Right.
Yeah, they're very protective. And, but it amazes me how the evidence that students come away with, I mean, time and time again.
Yeah, it is. It's so consistent, like you said. It's just, it amazes me every time I go.
It does me too, and it's just like, that's what I tell them. I says, I'm very shocked if nobody gets anything.
Right.
I'm just really shocked. I mean, we're talking not only pictures and electronic voice recordings, but we're talking personal experiences, eyewitness accounts. We're talking odors, strange odors that have no reason to be there.
Exactly.
You know, and things moving. So, you know, and the ghosts there, they like to play tricks. You know, they're very mischievous.
They're
not
can
mean,
be, yeah.
They're not mean or angry or cause you harm, but they like to play tricks. They'll pop up in the mirror behind you, you know, and then when you look around, you know, nobody there, and move your stuff in your room, and you know, stuff, you know.
Little pranksters.
Little pranksters, yeah.
So I think you brought a couple of photos and even some EVPs. Let's talk about these. I'd like to see them.
And so here's just a few photos. I think we've got 5 here. And the first one is by Susan, and that's with Flit. That's the name of the group. Susan was in the fall 2006 class, and as you can see, there's a spirit orb there, right almost in the middle of the picture.
Okay, so now explain to me, because I see 3 orbs.
Right. And the one on the side, on the upper left-hand corner, that was a lamp. It was a ceiling light.
Oh, that's good to know. So, so how do you know it's an orb? Well, I mean, I know how.
Yeah, you know how. But for everybody else,
for our viewers,
well, you know, and the theory is, and I say this because it's still theory. Nobody knows for sure. I mean, until it comes along and the theory changes, what we do know, what we work with, is that spirit orbs must meet 3 criteria.
Okay.
They must be have perfect symmetry.
Okay.
They must have the texture in the middle should be even. There's no holes, no colors, no patterns, no nothing. Okay. And then it must emit its own light, and that can be difficult because environmental orbs like insects and pollen and vapor, dust, and whatever can look very similar, and it's very hard to tell. Orbs are the most controversial, they are the most common, and the least understood. So, I mean, I get people emailing me pictures all the time and telling me, you know, look at all the spirit orbs, you know, and so, and I go, well, you know, according to theory, but then again, I mean, I have to tell you, you know, the theory could change 5 days from now, 5 months from now, 5 years from now, it could change.
Right.
So, but nobody's actually really proven they are or they're not. And there's some groups that don't even deal with spirit orbs because they're too controversial.
And I've heard of that too. I've heard some people, they won't even look at them. They think they're just...
I think it's an important part because I've been able to capture evidence where there's been a recording, there's been a spirit orb, and the's been some activity there to coincide, to put all that together.
Right.
So, and even Hans Holzer, who is counted on as being the grandfather of modern ghost hunting, says, you know, having one anomaly in there is not enough. You need others to in the same picture to back it up. So. And
that's kind of true of all paranormal evidence, is that it's best if you have more than one thing at the same moment, so that you can
just helps with the validation.
Right.
Yeah, it just helps with validation. But that's how we tell nowadays about spirit orbs.
Okay.
So the next picture is by Jackie Harris in fall of 2006, and you'll see she's got this mist. Now, we take, as investigators, we take at least 2 pictures. And this was her first picture, and then she took a picture right after, and it was completely clear.
So we're talking seconds apart.
Seconds apart. Not, yeah, 3, 4 seconds.
And the second picture didn't have any of that mist
No,
or fog.
No, and as you can tell, I'm standing in the middle. So it's like if it was exhaust or anything like that, I'd be coughing and, you know, and moving out of the way. But no, it was definitely, a bunch of us were there, and she captured a very good picture. And this is in the parking lot of the ranch.
So and let me play skeptic here, and I probably will on all of these photos. But you know, when I see that, the first question that pops into my mind is, was it cold? Because could that have been somebody's breath on an exhale?
Okay, number one, it was October, so it really wasn't that cold.
Okay.
And you're right, it may have been, but if you see the fog mist is on the other side of the car.
Okay.
So it actually extends throughout the whole frame.
There it is again.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I can see that. You're right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because I can see over in the white car. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so that helped me there.
Yeah. Well, good. I'm glad. I'm so happy.
And you already said that the cars weren't turned on.
Right.
So
cars
it
weren't
could be
turned on.
exhaust.
No. Yeah.
Okay, well, so what is it?
I don't know. You tell me.
The million-dollar question.
Yeah, we think there's obviously some spirits there, and I think they were following us around, and it kind of looks like there's like maybe 2 or 3 like kind of figures, outline of figures. If you look at it real close, I mean, I don't know, it might just be me, but reading into it, but you know, they kind of were just following us around.
Okay.
You know, and,
well,
you know, Jackie Harris is psychic.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
So and she knew. She had stood back, and she took this picture, and then took another one right after. So it was just clear.
That's great.
Yeah.
It's a good picture.
It
I
is
really
a good.
like it.
It is a good picture. I remember when I saw it in class, and I said, "Whoa!" 'Cause she didn't say anything when she got it. She
Oh,
didn't say
really?
anything.
And like you said, I mean, we never really know what any of this is.
Right.
It's all speculation.
Sure.
But with experience, you learn to recognize what something is and what something isn't. I mean, and you've been doing this for so long that I don't question when you say we got something here. I don't question you because you've been doing it for so long.
Yeah, and I learned from people that had been doing it for 25 plus years.
Right.
So they were my mentor. Yeah. So, you know, I mean, they were doing it for a long time, and back when it was all hush hush, you didn't talk about it. You know. So.
All right. So what's the next one we have here?
The next one is some more mist, and this was by Javier in spring of 2010.
Okay.
He was one of my students, and this was another mist fog picture.
There it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, and I didn't bring any comparison photos because to show you what breath looks like, what cigarette smoke looks like, you know. But knowing the difference is this is a spirit fog, a spirit mist out of the corner of his camera, so. And you can definitely tell once you side them up, you know, with what breath looks like, what cigarette smoke looks like, then you know the difference.
You know, I actually went on an investigation once, and there was just like nothing going on. Yeah. So it was a chilly day, and this was back when I was a smoker, and we decided to go outside and just start playing around with exactly what you said, where we blew breath into the cold air and took pictures. I smoked my cigarette and blew it out and took pictures. It started to rain, so we took pictures. So, I think that's important that you bring that up because you really do have to have something to compare it to. Right. And I think as an investigative group, it's important that you do that. You go and you take those pictures, so
and
you
know
learn
what they
to
like.
tell the difference.
Yeah, learn to tell the difference. Yeah. This one now, this is the anomaly itself is great. It's perfect, but standalone. Because you can't see the third side, it makes it a little less desirable. Right. You're better off when you have the mist in the center where you can see all around the mist. When you can see all the edges. Yeah, so you know it's not cigarette smoke, breath, or anything else. Exactly. You know, so, but it's still a good picture, and Javier was pleased. The next one we've got, I think, is another spirit orb, and it's by Kathy in the fall of 2010. I think we have 2 pictures of her from here, and there it is, and there's another, and this one was moving a little bit. Orbs don't stay still, so sometimes you'll catch them moving.
Okay, so that's why it has a little, it almost looks like a tail behind it. Okay.
Right, and that's exactly how we describe it, have a tail. Okay. But yeah, that one. And then the next picture, this one she took 2. The first picture was completely clear. It's in the bunkhouse. And you see that kind of black mist forming in the center of the frame there. Yeah. Yeah, and it got real cloudy. And then the other picture she took was completely clear.
So, you know, this one I find really interesting because not only do you have that black mist in the center, but the chair, there almost seems to be a glow on the chair. Right. And then on the side, on the right, there's almost like this dark strip that goes down the whole
saw that
photo.
too. Yeah, I saw that too.
Yeah, there it is
Yeah.
again. That's really interesting.
See how it comes off the right-hand side there?
Yep, I don't understand how that could be a naturally occurring
It's not a shadow. It's not
phenomenon.
a shadow.
Right, because it goes all the way down.
Yeah, and if you look at the second picture didn't have any of that in it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, how
so
cool.
she caught something back there.
Yeah.
So anyway, and just so you know and everybody else knows, like I said earlier, we don't just get pictures. I mean, the students get have personal experiences. They get touched. Things in their room move. They hear footsteps of doors opening and closing in their room, and they see things move, and they get, they smell odors, and it just, all the whole seven point indicators that we use to decide whether a place is haunted or not. But out of all the investigations I've done, and there've been many, so
tons.
Yeah, I'd probably say close to 100. So this is probably the most, and it's constant, the most haunted place that I've ever been.
Wow.
Yeah, there's been places I've gotten good evidence, but this is so constant. It's every single time I go up there.
It's such a good trip. So you also brought some EVPs as well, is that correct?
Yes.
So for those of you that don't know, EVP stands for Electronic Voice Phenomenon. And basically what that is you take a voice recorder, anything that you can buy. You can get them at Target,
right?
Right. And it's something that you would use as a student, like in a college class,
sure,
to record a lecture. It's a digital voice recorder. And as an investigator, I did those a lot, and I would take them into a room, and you sit down and you're quiet. There's protocol. You don't move around. You don't whisper. You don't talk. If you do talk, you say, "This is Krista, and I'm going to start asking a question now." So you make sure you kind of do everything that you possibly can to eliminate, what was that? So that way if you hear something.
Did you hear that?
Exactly.
Did you hear that?
And then you realize the next day, oh, that was.
Somebody's stomach growled.
That was that happened all the time. Don't go on investigation hungry, because you will hear your belly growl.
And if you do not eat Mexican or Italian food, because that from anything spicy, because that makes your stomach growl even more.
Right, lessons learned.
Yeah.
Lessons learned. Okay, but you brought some with. So these are also from Sierra Sky Ranch?
Yes.
Okay, let's hear them.
Yes. This first picture is going to be in the kitchen. Now you got to keep in mind, everything was turned off in the kitchen. No grill, no oven, nothing was on.
Okay.
All the electronics were off. Anyway, so, and we had a team in there, and it was Steve's team and I think Lisa. So if we can cue in that picture and then the audio.
We heard you. If you could make another sound, that would be great. That thing is crazy. Yeah, this looks crazy.
Too much power in
Air
here.
cage.
Yeah.
I wonder. Seriously. You're in tight quarters. We heard you. If you could make another sound, that would be great. That thing is crazy. Yeah, this looks crazy.
Too much power in here.
Air cage.
Yeah.
I wonder. Seriously. You're in tight quarters.
Okay, wow.
Do you hear that sizzling sound?
I hear the sizzling, then I also heard almost like a...
Yeah, and
like
then there was actually two hots in there.
Oh, okay.
Right, Steve? Yes. Right, yeah. But you don't only hear the first one real clear, but the second one you definitely hear very, very clear.
Wow.
And we're thinking it's probably residual, and residual, as we know, is just, it's like an imprint, energy imprint. And
like it's just kind of replaying over
itself.
and over and over.
Yeah,
again.
but then we don't know for sure. It may have been an actual intellectual.
You never know.
Yeah,
Never
haunting.
know. All right, we got another one, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And this one is in the loft, and seems to be one of the most active places. And again, this is by Steve. I think actually got this one in his 2009 class. And if we can show that picture now of that, I think it's in the loft. There we go. And the audio.
Oh, you got fingers. Is this Chris? No, we're not. Oh, you got fingers. Is this Chris?
Yeah, did you hear
Yeah, I did.
it? Get back.
Get back.
Now, it doesn't sound, it doesn't say get out. It says get back, like either, you know, hey, you're in my space, you need to get back, or don't come any closer, you might get hurt.
Quit crowding me.
Quit crowding me, you know. But basically, it was just, instead of saying get out, it said get back.
Okay.
So we're assuming, and this was in the loft, and it sounds like a woman's voice. So, but we know that there are some inhabitants up there, you know. But we've never really been able to get their names.
Right.
We do know some of the names, but we don't know who actually stays in the loft. Right. And I think the next one, again, is back in the kitchen. Now, this is by Clara, and she was a student in spring of 2006. And this was in the kitchen pantry. You know, you go way in the back behind the grill and dishwashing and all that stuff.
Ooh, I have a story about that afterwards. So let's hear this, and I got a story.
Yeah,
to
let's
tell about
see if we can get a picture picture of the pantry in the back, and play the audio.
Well, Roy, if you don't mind, we're only going to take maybe 1 or 2 more pictures and then we'll leave you alone. Thank you. We're going to be here tonight, and you're welcome to tell us a message anytime that you're ready. Well, Roy, if you don't mind, we're only going to take maybe 1 or 2 more pictures and then we'll leave you alone. Thank you. We're going to be here tonight, and you're welcome to tell us a message anytime that you're ready.
So that one sounded right at the beginning almost.
Right.
It said,
yeah.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, and she was talking to Roy, who we know is in the back, but
Okay.
this sounded like a woman's voice,
It
so
did.
I'm not sure who the woman is. But, you know, Clara was basically saying, you know, hey, we're just going to be hanging out for a while, and then we're going to leave you alone, and then that's when she said thank you. So, yeah.
Okay.
So it's actually pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Yeah, it sounds like
Yeah.
it.
And I think we have one more, and it's back in the loft. And this was strange. I think we got one from Dee and Sam, and they were in the 2010 class. And then we had another one from Steve. And these are 2 separate sessions.
Okay.
And we get, and I only have the one, but the two EVPs were real similar. Real
Okay.
similar.
Okay.
So if we can cue in that next picture with the audio.
Do you like me playing with your toys? I'll leave them alone if you tell me to leave them alone. Do you like me playing with your toys? I'll leave them alone if you tell me to leave them alone.
Yeah, and it's almost the same, even though they're like a year apart, you know, different investigators in the same area, in the same loft, we had this same giggle.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
and
pretty
I
funny.
think it's one of the kids. We know there's 2 kids there.
Okay.
So we think it's one of the kids.
So let me ask you a quick question. How do you say we know there's 2 kids there?
Yeah.
So are you talking about, is this through research, through death records, or do you know from psychics that have gone on investigations with you that tell you, or is it a combination of both?
Combination.
Okay.
Yeah. We don't know. Obviously, we know when it was a TB sanitarium, we know that there were children and adults were admitted there.
Okay.
Some died.
Yes, of course.
We do know that one of the spirits there is Sarah, who's a nurse, and she used to look after some of the children. I guess apparently she had a couple that are her favorites. We don't know if it's specifically them, but we do know there's a boy and a girl because people have seen them.
Oh,
And
okay.
psychics have told us. So it's kind of a combination of everything.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's how we know. And we know the little boy's name is, I want to say Bobby or Billy. I think it's Bobby.
Okay.
If I'm remembering correctly. You know, I'm getting older. But I think it's Bobby. And we think the little girl is Sally, but we're not positive. She seems to be the more elusive of the 2. Bobby's he's really forthright. He'll come right up and he'll interact with us on the EMF detector, and he'll interact with us more than the little girl will.
Right. That's great. And personally, being sensitive myself, I think it's wonderful that you use psychics as a tool. Because, really, when it comes to investigations, they're a tool just like anything else.
Yeah.
None of the equipment that's used in psychic or in paranormal investigations was not designed for paranormal investigations.
That's right.
They're
That's
all
right.
designed for something else, and
Right.
we adapt them.
Right.
And I think that by using psychics on a team, it's another
Right.
tool to use it.
Exactly,
another
it's
form of
specialized
validation.
tool.
Very specialized, yeah.
But I mean, one of the best psychics I ever worked with, that's Jason, and he told me himself, he's Jackie, use me, I'm a tool.
Right, yeah.
I'm just a tool, so use me. I'm a specialized tool, but just a tool. Use me.
Only during investigations.
Yes.
He's not a tool the rest of the time.
No,
I'm
no,
sure.
no, 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 no. He's my good friend, and I love him dearly. But
Okay.
and I've always remembered that, and it's like and that's no disrespect to psychics. I mean, my sister is highly psychic,
Yeah.
but I just think that it just helps me if they can point me in the right direction, and I can get hard evidence.
Exactly.
Then I've done
And that's
my
the
job.
ultimate goal.
Yeah. I've done
So
my
I have to
job.
tell you a story, Jackie.
Okay.
I have to tell you a story. We just showed pictures and
Yes.
an EVP from the pantry
Yes.
in there.
Yes.
Well, I was on an investigation with you, I'm sure. I think every time I went there, I was with you.
Yeah.
And it was really late at night. In fact, this was the last room in the whole place that we hadn't been to yet.
Right.
Was the pantry. So there's a group, I think there was, I want to say 5 or 6 of us. And the pantry, it's really narrow. So we have to go in single file. I'm the first one in line. Immediately behind me is my friend Daniel. Then we have a few other people in line behind us. And we're doing an EVP session. And it's quiet. I mean, I think it was like, I want to say 2 o'clock in the morning, if I remember correctly. So it is quiet. And we sit there and we turn our recorders on and we say, is there anybody here? We don't get anything. Nothing at all. So we
Welcome to my world.
right, we give it a few seconds and we say, okay, if anybody's here, can you please let us know of your presence, make a noise? And still nothing. So we're sitting there, we're tired, we're thinking, okay, let's just leave, and we'll say, okay, let's give it one more shot. So we say, okay, if there's anybody here, please let us know, make a noise, tap on the wall, do something. So we sit there and we're quiet for a second, and all of a sudden, Jackie, the loudest noise I think I've ever heard. All of a sudden, it's like bam, bam, bam. I mean, it's so loud. Me and Daniel were standing next to each other. We jumped into each other's arms like we were dying because it freaked us out. And we're a professional team. You don't get scared on investigations.
Very professional, very professional.
I'm still undecided if I'm glad we weren't videotaping or if I kind of wish we were, because I'm sure it was hilarious to see. But I mean, all of us, we're in a big single file line, and the next thing you know, we're like a huddled group. There isn't room to huddle, but we're huddled in a group, and we're freaking out. Our hearts are racing, and I think a few of us, including myself, may have screamed. But then we take a few seconds and we calm down and we realize, wait a minute. This pantry is immediately underneath the stairs to the loft, and the noise we had heard was simply somebody walking upstairs. It was another group of investigators walking upstairs to the loft, and then we had a good laugh and we made fun of ourselves, and then I think we decided it was time for bed.
But you're right, because I've been in there and I know the kitchen is clear and there's nobody in there, the lights are off,
Yeah.
the dishwashers are done, they've gone home.
Yeah.
And I've been in the lobby, which backs up to that kitchen, and I've been in there sitting by myself and heard all kinds of racket in that kitchen.
Yeah.
Pots and pans banging, sounds like furniture was being moved and dragged across the floor.
Right.
Of course, I get up and go look, and there's nobody there. It's still
Yeah.
dark, and there's nobody in there.
Yep.
But yeah, so I mean, but that's a very common occurrence there. Other people have heard it many, 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 many times. So
Well, and that's why we went in the pantry in the first
Yeah.
place, is because
Yeah.
people have gotten EVPs there. They've
Right.
gotten photos in there. I mean, it's a tiny little space.
Yeah.
It's not something you would think to go in and do a ghost investigation in, but that's why we were there. And then
yeah, we know Roy likes to hide back there.
Yeah.
He's the old sous chef, so
Yeah.
he likes to hide back there.
yeah,
so
we
know that.
had a good scare. It was the scariest moment of my ghost hunting career. But
Well, you're going to talk about yours, and I'm going to tell you mine.
Oh, okay. Let's hear it.
So I'm with a team, and we're down in downstairs room, the room 17.
Okay,
And
okay.
we had just walked in, and there's an outside door and there's a hallway door. So we walked in from the hallway door. We're all kind of standing right next to inside the door, and we're all standing there. We're kind of just talking. and we're kind of just looking where we're going to stand, where we're going to start. And all of a sudden, the outside door, the knob turns.
Uh-oh.
Okay, everybody went silent. The knob turns, and it starts to open.
Oh, my goodness.
And one of the girls turned around and started to make a beeline for the door. The rest of us just stood frozen.
I can imagine.
Oh, I mean, nobody got out a camera. Nobody got out a recorder.
Of course not.
It was slowly, we're all watching this door open up, and it's my husband.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah, I could have killed
But
him.
you know, I gotta say, they do make the best stories, don't they? Don't they?
Yeah.
All right, Jackie, I'm looking at the clock, and I'm seeing that we're
Out of
running
time.
time. So, a few things that about wraps it up for us. There's a few things on the calendar that you may want to mark down. The last Wednesday of each month is when we're going to be doing our thing.
Yeah.
Same channel as today, so check your local listings to get the exact channel.
Yeah, and I want to add something too there. It's on the script. But, you know, I think we're going to each week, and this is just kind of our premiere episode to kind of get you to know who we are and what we do and kinds of things. But I want to let you know that we're going to be showcasing special guests that have different areas of expertise, whether it's Bigfoot or urban legends or UFOs or whatever. These are the people, these are the movers and shakers, these are the people out in the field doing the research on the paranormal. This is their passion, this is their commitment. This is what they do, and they have been doing it for years. So, I mean, we're also going to be highlighting authors, especially local authors who want to write paranormal books, and maybe have an agent come in and tell you how to do it. You know, what are some tips in writing a good book, and how to get published, and things like that. I think I'm going to be asking some of my author friends to show up and try to give us some tips on how whoever wants to write a book. But I think, yeah, so each week will be a little bit different. We'll probably highlight some of the places in the valley here that we've been that are haunted. Whenever we can do private cases, we get permission, we'll be able to highlight those.
Right.
So,
Great.
yeah, so I just kind of want you guys to hang with us, and
Yeah.
hopefully, you know, you'll enjoy the show.
Exactly. And before we go, there are a few quick announcements. CCPI Ghost Walks, led by yours truly over here, Jackie. The Ghost Walks, they happen in Fresno, in the Tower District, and also in Old Town Clovis.
Correct.
They're going to be happening throughout November, so check them out.
Yes.
You can go to nightfalltours.com or call 260-1738 and ask for Katie for details.
And we'll put that on the screen.
Okay. And then for the CCPI, for Jackie's investigation group, you can always see what they're up to by checking out their website and their calendar. As far as Casa del Curandero, we always have classes going, Reiki, both Usui and Karuna, and we always have something else going on, some other type of fun class to help educate and to learn and to spread love. So check us out at casadelcurandero.com. And a few community events that we want to bring up real fast. First of all, I'm so excited for this.
No, you're going.
I'm going. I'm going on the closing day and
New Year's Eve.
New Year's Eve. I'm talking about the Rocky Horror
Yeah.
Picture Show.
Yeah.
This is going to be wonderful. It's going to be absolutely amazing. I mean, it's Rocky Horror, right? How can you not like it?
You'll like it. You'll have a good time.
Right. So get your stilettos out, ladies. It's back. It's going to start on Halloween on October 31st, and it runs through New Year's. I'm going to the last show because, I figure that's going to be the funnest because that's,
Oh yeah.
just
Oh yeah.
fun.
You'll have a good time.
Right.
You'll have a super good time.
And from what I understand, they give you stuff to throw,
Oh, yeah.
and it's very audience participation.
Yes.
So check it out. That's going to be at the California Arts Academy, again in the Tower District. General tickets are only $20, so extremely affordable. You can call 498-3300 or email at info@rockyhorrorfresno.com for details and directions.
And I want to throw this out to my husband.
Oh.
Yeah. Bon Jovi's coming October 8th, Save Mart. So,
I know,
and
I love
Bill
Bon
Cosby's
Jovi.
coming March 1st. So, yeah, if you want to buy tickets for Christmas or birthdays or whatever, I'm open. I'm open.
If that isn't a hint,
Yeah.
that better be a hint. So, if your husband doesn't get you tickets, then I'll slap them for
Yeah,
you because,
yeah.
how more clear can you get? So.
Yeah.
All right.
I love Bon Jovi.
I do too.
Yeah.
How can you not love Bon
Yeah.
Jovi? Well, that's it for us, guys. Thank you so much for taking your time and being with us, spending your hour with us. Like Jackie said, we plan on having all sorts of different people and topics on air. So join us again. We hope to see you soon. And on behalf of Jackie and myself, Take care and be safe.
One thing to add, can I add one more thing?
Yes, of course.
If you want to contact us, we've gone ahead and set up an email address. If you've got comments or questions, something you'd like to see on the show, something special, maybe
great.
we can get it together and get it down here. So anyway, it's paranormaljourneys1@gmail.com. So let us know what you'd like and how you like the show. All right. So as Krista said, take care and be safe.
Thank you.